Schmo, go ahead.
Give John the first question.
No, 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 no. I don't know him.
Tradition.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, John.
It's all good.
It's all you. No, I'm just joking.
Talking about, I mean,
I know him.
Fair
I
enough.
met him yesterday.
You met him yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought we went bad at it.
Okay,
It's
and
okay.
he's a good guy.
He is a good guy.
Yeah.
Justin Gaethje, how long has been a guy that's been on your personal radar as somebody that you were scouting and keeping an eye on and trying to start breaking him down?
I actually haven't had Justin on my radar, and a question was posed to me 1999, no, 2019. A question was posed, what do I think about him? And at that particular time, I didn't really think much of him because I wasn't paying attention to him. So I said, I don't, and maybe that got you know how you guys twist that thing a little bit. Ariel's really good at that. But anyway, so long story short, I didn't really pay attention to him till he dismantled Tony, because now he was real. Now he's in front of us. So then I paid attention and I saw how great he actually is, and what a challenge he is. That's when I really paid attention.
So when it comes to Khabib, I mean, I think the question is like, what's the biggest challenge in terms of Khabib, right? Is it the fact that Justin's wrestling is so strong, his defensive wrestling is there, or is it, the power that he brings with his hands, his low kicks, that sort of thing? Is it the wrestling or the striking that makes him more dangerous?
It's the striking for me, and the fact that he has D1 wrestling does also have a big impact, But it's the striking. He's the best kicker in the business, I believe, in the 155 anyways. Because I think Israel probably takes the nod for being the best kicker all the way around. But I think in the 155, I give it to Justin. He's the best kicker all the way around over everybody, in my opinion.
Fair enough. Khabib hasn't really wanted to talk about it, and understandably so, but his camp has changed with the loss of his father. You know behind the scenes better than we do. How much does it really affect his preparation, whether it be the physical aspect of it, the mental aspect, of course? I mean, how much different has it really been behind the scenes?
It does affect, and I'll tell you how it affects. When I had his father with me, even though I've only cornered one time, and that was with Dustin, the fact that I would talk to Khabib about things, about how we apply things, and he'd always tell me, yes, my father say same thing, coach. I don't have that anymore, so I don't have that backup before, someone that grew with him and knew him better than anybody. I don't have that, so for me, it's a little bit more difficult per se, but he's been handling it fantastic. He's driven, he's motivated to preserve the legacy that him and his father had planned, and that's the one thing I can say that is great. His mind, it's like, he says, coach, if anything breaks, it's okay because my mind is not broken.
And lastly, if he wins this fight, obviously he talked about going 30-0 and what a mark that would be. Is there a matchup that you would like to see for him in that 30th fight? Is there a fight that you would like to prepare with him to if it is his last fight, to send him out on a high note?
Well, if we get by Justin, which I'm hoping we do, and that's the plan, I would like GSP, because I was in the car when him and his father discussed the ideal last opponent was GSP. Now, whether it's Khabib's last fight, I don't know, but let's just say it is, like you're saying. I would say GSP would be my number one pick. Number one pick, GSP.
You mentioned that you weren't really watching Gaethje until the performance over Ferguson. When you've been preparing for Tony Ferguson for so long, so when you see a guy come in and do that to him, does that just make you immediately think this guy's the biggest threat we could possibly ever face?
I thought when I looked at him, I was thinking that probably the second biggest threat, because I still to this day believe Conor was, and the reason why I believe Conor was is because that precision striking. But Justin could easily prove me wrong and prove to be the toughest test we've ever had. We've yet to see that, but I know we've already seen Conor, and that's why I always say Conor, because if you think about it, who's won a round against Khabib? Conor. And who's given Khabib a tough time take the first round? He took Conor down. But how much damage did Khabib give him? No, Conor was very, very good there. So to me, I had to give it to Conor for that. I haven't seen Justin. Now, obviously, if I've seen Justin already and we fought him already and we are victorious like I'm hoping, then I can tell you 100% he was the toughest. But right now, I think in theory he's number two.
At the press conference yesterday, Gaethje said, I have to stay off the cage or I'll die. And I think everyone understands that Khabib's tactic is going to be to get him to the cage. But does that almost give you a tell that if Khabib gets him against the cage with regularity, he's going to mentally break? Is he giving you a tell there that, if I'm in that position that I can't be in, I'm going to give up?
Absolutely not. That guy ain't quitting for nothing. That guy's a true warrior, man. He ain't quitting. You got to kill him to stop that guy, both of those guys. So, no. It goes in the middle. It goes in the cage. He's fighting. He's giving it all. That you've seen what type of person he is. You've seen what kind of great warrior he is, and you see the mentality he has. How can you not love him? I mean, you have to respect him. If you don't love him, you have to respect him. And obviously, my job is I'm with Habib's coach, and I love him, and I want him to win, and we're doing everything we can. But Justin is as credible as they come in every department, mental, physical, and how he approaches the fight game, how he acts. He's great everywhere.
It's over the past few fights, Gaethje's striking has become a lot more refined. He used to be this crazy brawler. Khabib's a little bit of an unorthodox striker, but I don't necessarily think he's a bad striker, like some people like to suggest. But do you think there's an argument that by becoming more refined and traditional, Gaethje's actually playing into Khabib's hands, and would it be better for Gaethje to just come in, swing wildly, and unorthodox himself?
No, I wish Gaethje would come in wild and orthodox and go crazy. That would do better. But his coach, settled him down, got him to relax and think about the game planning and fight correctly. And therefore, he's got a great coach. So obviously, he knows what's up. So I got a master chess player on the other end of the octagon for me. So I had to stay sharp, too, because I'm not dealing with a normal coach. He's an incredible coach.
Last one from me. You mentioned Conor and the threat he possesses, and that you think Justin's probably still number two. I'm just curious how you would imagine a fight between those two would go.
Rematch between?
No, between Conor and Gaethje.
Oh, I think Conor. The precision striking, and the reason why I say Conor is because Gaethje's not going to engage his wrestling. He's going to do what he always does, going to stand. And if you're doing that with Conor, I'm sorry, unless you knock him out, you're not going to beat him. I don't think so. That's just my opinion.
Javier, when we were watching the Tony Ferguson fight, there were obviously no fans, so you can hear both coaches pretty well. But what did you make of Trevor Whitman's coaching between rounds during that fight? A lot of people praised him for calming Justin down.
Fantastic. Compared to the other corner, I don't think they knew what the heck that was going on. I think they weren't used to what happened, and they didn't know how to bring their fighter back. So it's like a great corner versus a corner that actually just they were lost. I thought.
A lot's obviously been made of the wrestling versus the wrestling, but in terms of the striking, I think a lot of people would say Justin has the advantage. But do you think Khabib's striking is just that much? Is just so underrated coming into this fight?
Well, Khabib's striking has been underrated from the get-go. I mean, watch what he did with Conor. He stood with Conor the whole round on purpose. And did he win that round? Probably not. Did he lose that round? Maybe not. Maybe he won. I mean, it was that close. So he does that to me all the time. And the thing I don't feel comfortable about is because I like an easy route, and to me, I think he's the best on the planet that there's ever been at 155 on taking people to the ground and sticking on the ground. So I prefer the easy route. So I always like that. So he always scares the hell out of me when he likes to stand with people. I don't like that, and I'm saying this because I'm hoping that it rings true to him to don't stand with this guy. I don't want that because it's not an easy feeling knowing that you have an easier route to a victory and he chooses to go the harder route. And with his father there, he went strictly 100% the father's plan route, and that's the part that scares me a little.
Javier, I just want to ask, what do you think's been the secret to the longevity of American Kickboxing Academy from the Mike Swift days and the trio at welterweight to now you got Khabib, the next generation? I mean, not many teams can say they've had that long success of churning out these high-level guys just through the years.
It's just the love, I mean, it all really started with me with Frank Shamrock when Frank Shamrock was my first middleweight UFC champion, and he was the first well-rounded fighter. If you guys remember that, some of you might, some of you don't. I think John remembers, but it all started with him. And it's just the love and luck, and I've had the fortune of having Dwayne Zinkin and Crazy Bob Cook. They helped me with the management of bringing all these top quality wrestlers to come in and train to do MMA. So that's really helped a lot immensely, because that's where I got DC and Cain Velasquez.
I mean, who's coming up next? I mean, Khabib is saying he might be done at 30-0, so you're going to need the next generation. I mean, who's coming up right now?
Well, Khabib has a lot on his side. He's got Islam Makhachev, who's fighting the main event against RDA. Watch out for that one. Expect Islam to be victorious. Umar, his cousin, another undefeated guy. His other cousin, Usman, who's signed with Bellator. I think he's going to be a superstar. It's just with time, but expect Usman to be the Luke Rockhold of Dagestan, in my opinion. I mean, the kid's got it all.
On the YouTube channel, I Am Bay, Khabib was taunting, DC was taunting Khabib about wrestling Burroughs. Now, Gaethje gave Burrows arguably a better run for his money than Askren did. So what does that say to you about Gaethje?
Probably just same as he can wrestle. But it's MMA wrestling. I mean, I put Burrows in there with Khabib and make it MMA. Guess what? Burrows is going to have a tough time, and he's going to get taken down because he's not used to getting punched. He's not used to getting kicked. See, I've been in this game long enough to know there's a difference between just pure wrestling and pure MMA wrestling. There's a whole big difference. I experienced that myself when I put on the gloves with Frank Shamrock, and it was just a kickboxing match. I mean, I schooled him so bad it was ridiculous, you know. But then all of a sudden, takedowns were into the play, and guess who got schooled? Me. I was running like a chicken, you know, trying to avoid from him taking me down. It was crazy. I couldn't stand. I couldn't do anything. So I learned right early on that there's different games right there. That we're talking wrestling, pure wrestling, and we're talking MMA wrestling. Burroughs doesn't know how to strike, so you can wrestle with him all you want. That's good. That's one element, but it's not MMA. Yes.
Since you've started working with Khabib, what would you say are the biggest involvements, whether as a fighter or as a man?
His maturity, his leadership, you know, how he's taken over the responsibilities of his father and how he's doing great things by opening up, free gyms around the world for the underprivileged to come and train. And that was his father's vision. That was his father's goal, to unite all countries and around the world with physical fitness, you know. And he's done that in Dagestan, and Khabib's going to carry that on just like his father did. Schmo, what's the matter?
All right, I got one for you.
Come on.
So
But no, don't talk normal. Don't be normal on me.
Oh no, I'm gonna do this normal. Obviously, Khabib's popularity speaks for itself. Go back to last year, UFC 242. The world was in a much different place. We're, a day before weigh-ins and everything like that. Do you think that this has been easier to prepare for in these final training sessions with Khabib, with the mental focus, with the less distractions than it was last year?
No, I think this one's harder. This one's harder. This is harder. He's on track, but this is harder. I can see it. And one element, and we all know it, his father. You know, it's been harder. No lie, it's been harder. He's on track, but this has been more of a lonelier time for him by himself. I could see it, you know, and I think that's what's also actually going to help us too, is the fact that he's doing this for his father and himself, obviously, because you can't just do it for one person. It's got to be yourself. But this is a harder one. I don't like normal. Are we good?
Good.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.